Hi, I'm Bob Prouty, and as you can tell from my accent, I'm an American. But I live in Sydney, Australia in a very multicultural environment. And my heart is to reach out to people who won't normally walk into a large church. Large churches are wonderful. I love my traditional church, but there's just some people who just feel uncomfortable, like Alan. Alan's a day trader. He works at home. He doesn't like large groups. Alan's an atheist. And when we started a neighborhood Bible study in the area, we first went to a friend of his wife, Grace. We said, Grace, could we have a neighborhood Bible study here at your house? And we asked her, who could you invite to come along? Now, we warned the people, it's not going to be like a traditional Bible study where I do all the teaching. Instead, we're going to read just one portion of the Bible, and then the people who come, they're going to answer the questions. And she said, well, I can invite the folks from work. So she works at a YMCA, and she invited folks from another daycare center. They all came together, and we had a fun time. But only one person wanted to join us. That was Carrie. Carrie came along, and we got Grace and her husband and ourselves, and we get together, eat some food, have a fun time, read part of the Bible. And every week, she'd go home and tell her atheist husband, Alan, what she'd been learning. It's just part of the expectation. Who are you going to share this week with? And so she shared with him. Well, it took 2 years before Carrie came to faith and wanted to be baptized. And so she was baptized, and the group continued, and she kept on telling things to her husband, and he began to look into things a little bit more. And at one of the parties, he told me he believed in God now, because he'd read a book about God's fingerprint and so forth. And I said, what about Jesus? Not so sure about him yet. Time goes on. Then I said, Bob, I'm ready to be baptized. I said, well, if you're going to be baptized, you've got to, first of all, invite some of your friends. Okay. And I want you to write down a short story of how you come to faith. Alan wrote a 2,500-word essay, translated into English for me, and then read the whole thing at his baptism service. I mean, it's pretty long. It was very, very strong apologetic, but it's his party, and so he gets to run it his way. Then he goes and posts on WeChat that he had been baptized, and all of his friends said, what's this all about? Relatives began to talk to him. He did a whole bunch of things like that. Well, Alan and his wife, Carrie, have since been involved in starting 2 Discovery Bible studies. And what Carrie loves about them is that, she's got a whole bunch of people around her who are friends, who she just really connect with. They can talk about anything. So what she do when we have a picnic in the area? We just had a picnic down in the local park. 2 Chinese people show up, and she says, hey, would you like to come to my Discovery Bible study? And they say, sure. So here's a space where Alan feels comfortable being around other believers and non-believers, learning more and more about Jesus. Our goal is to start churches like this in every community so people who don't want to go to large spaces can learn about God.